Welcome back to Gunfire Reborn and another Reincarnation 10 guide video. Today I'll be sharing what is possibly the strongest build I've been able to find for Gunfire Reborn, just in general, that utilizes the current seasonal bonus that we have with the Arcane Talismans. It utilizes a very unique weapon in the Demonlore, which is a fire SMG. The Demonlore's unique mechanic is that it gains weapon damage for every critical hit it obtains, and this is a stacking effect. It resets on reload or weapon switch. To go more into detail about this passive, the increase in weapon damage is 10% per stack, and it goes up to 99 stacks. And like it says, reloading or weapon switching resets the entire bonus. The SMG itself is, at its face value, it's not the strongest weapon in the game. It suffers from a lot of recoil, and the accuracy on it is fairly low. It also doesn't have the largest magazine size of only 30 by default. However, with the current seasonal bonuses we have with the Arcane Talisman, we can completely break this gun in half and ignore the second half of the listed mechanic, which is the part that says resets stacks on reload or weapon switch, because of a single power gem that we have access to at all times. And that power gem is bullet reload. Bullet reload restores 100% of your magazine ammo of your current held weapon. This does not count as a reload for the effects of the Demonlore, which means that you bypass the entire downside of using the Demonlore, where it resets upon a reload. This means that you can stack up to 99 stacks of that damage bonus and run around with 990% bonus weapon damage at all times. Yes, it is just as broken as you can imagine it. Now, there are a few different characters that can utilize this build well, and personally I think Tau is the best fit. Tau already by default gets superior magazine, which increases magazine capacity, and that is something we absolutely want to increase. The more magazine we have, the better off this build will be, and Tau has that by default. Another character that does this build pretty well is Aobai as well. Aobai can dual wield, however I think dual wielding is something that actually resets the stacks. I could be wrong on that, but I think I've tested it before, and I'm pretty sure dual wielding resets the stacks. If someone else knows exactly how it interacts, feel free to test out Aobai, but Aobai could potentially be one with the increased rate of fire, increased weapon damage, and everything that Aobai gives you. Another one that could work fairly well is Lee, just from the increased fire damage, and along those lines as well, Crown Prince as well, if you grab all fire damage, increasing things. But for the purposes of this video, we'll be running with Tau. Now, the talisman itself, I've tried making the Rapidfire Talisman work a few times. I really have. However, I feel it is a slightly too inconsistent. If you want to go for pure just break this game in half, then I recommend the Rapidfire Talisman alongside this build. That's gonna give you the most bang for your buck and just completely melt enemies. However, in my experience, because of the build we are going for, it is very rarely actually damage output that will be the end of your run. It's going to be survivability. And because of that, we're going to be grabbing the Notch Talisman. The Notch Talisman is simply the best talisman in the entire game, and it's going to give you more weapon damage. Not as much, but it's going to give you some weapon damage, primary skill cooldown, more shield and armor, as well as max health and movement speed. It's going to increase your survivability by a fair bit, as well as some damage along the way. So we'll actually be using the Notch Talisman. Originally, when I attempted to record this video, because I've recorded this video a few times and they all ended in failure, because I simply died due to being careless. So to switch things up, I'm actually going to use the Notch Talisman. But if you want to just completely break this game in half, use the Rapidfire Talisman alongside Bullet Reload, and then something else as you level up the Rapidfire Talisman. But for this video, we'll be using the Notch Talisman. And we're using Bullet Reload, and I'll also use Emergency Recovery, just for the increased health regen. As for extra challenges, I will be using Lone Wolf 4 with no extra blessing and Mysterious Jokel. Again, if you're playing Reincarnation 10 for the first time, don't activate these bonuses, play without them. I'm simply using them because I like the extra added challenge to it. With all of that, we're set to go. So the first blessing we want to pick up is a very specific one, because it's going to stack alongside the weapon damage increase that the Demonlore has inherently because of the mechanic we'll be abusing. And the blessing we want is First Strike. We got it immediately here, which is fantastic. First Strike is fantastic for any build that want to go for a massive magazine size and never wants to reload, or something that can keep a very high magazine count. And with the bullet reload passive that we'll be going for, First Strike is almost always going to be providing its maximum benefit at all times. So First Strike is absolutely the Spiritual Remnant you want to go for first. It is key to this build and gives you a lot of damage to work with. Let's see here, starting weapon... I think I'm just going to go with the Cavalry here. Dragon Chaser is an excellent weapon if you want to deal with elites. However, as a starting weapon, Cavalry is fine. As for secondary weapon, obviously we want to use the Demonlore as our primary, but for secondary weapons, you want to look for any weapon that gives you as big of a magazine size as possible for the secondary weapon. Because the aim of this build is to eventually Gemini, do the magazine size sharing Gemini. That is the ultimate goal with this build. Sharing a massive magazine size with the Demonlore is going to make it more consistent, it's going to give us more damage from First Strike, and we won't ever run the risk of potentially running out of bullets and having an automatic reload with as big of a magazine size as possible. Of course, I will be explaining my thought process behind this run as well as we go, my choices for scrolls, perhaps give some other general advice for Reincarnation 10. Now, in my personal opinion, Resilient Life, very good early scroll, more health regen. Now, in my personal opinion, Tau is one of the toughest heroes to actually beat Reincarnation 10 with on Classic mode. If you're doing the seasonal event that we have with the Arcane Talisman, she's pretty okay. She's not that difficult, especially if you abuse Rapidfire Talisman, your damage output will be crazy. But for Classic mode, Tau is going to be one of those heroes that you may struggle with, and I've still yet to find a build that is 100% consistent for Tau on Classic mode. But for the event, the seasonal event, sorry, she's going to be very strong. Now, for our Ascensions, we want to pick stuff that just gives us weapon damage, or things that are going to synergize with weapon damage later down the line. So for this, Swordsman is a no-brainer here. It's just going to give us more weapon damage and skill damage for every stack of Blade Art we have. We're not going to be using our main skill that much, but we do want to just increase our damage passively. We're also not going to be really going for skill damage. We want weapon damage at all cost, or rather at if there's a choice between skill and weapon damage, I should say. Then you absolutely want to go for weapon damage. Hello. Alright, please don't die already. I was getting a flashback there. Focus up. You can talk between fights. There you go. I should really get into the habit of that, by the way. Not talking during fights and getting myself confuzzled. Enhanced Ninja Discipline? No. Absolutely not for this build. We'll be using a fully automatic, very fast rate of fire weapon. Ninja Discipline has almost negative synergy with that. Again, it's not a bad scroll. It's not going to hurt you in the long run, but it's not going to benefit us that much. I'm absolutely going to take and re-roll this. Might just pick up this Angelic Aura, though. Yeah. See, what do we get? Preemptive Strike. The regular version of this would be kind of pointless for our build, because we'll be consuming ammo quite a lot. But the enhanced version absolutely has potential. Especially with Tau's hero skill. Let's see if I can find it. I think it is Selfless Dedication, which restores your ammo whenever you get a kill, which means Preemptive Strike is going to be active even longer. Alright, let's see here. Now, with the Notch Talisman, if you've never used it, it essentially marks a target. Actually, I should just explain what the Notch Talisman does. For those of you who haven't used it, it has a unique trigger gem where it marks a target every, I think it's 1 second or so. And then, as long as you have a marked target, it's not going to mark a new one until you killed it. Defeating the marked target triggers your gems, but also gives you 1 stack. Each stack increases all of these bonuses, and as soon as you get 60 stacks, it will essentially evolve into a more powerful version where you can then change out the trigger gem. So that is something important to know if you're using this for the first time, is that once you get those 60 targeted kills, you will have to assign a new trigger gem for it. It's not gonna continue with the previous trigger gem of marking enemies that you then kill. That is something to be aware of. Ooh, illusion. Illusion's a pretty good weapon for Tau. Another thing to note is that as you upgrade your talisman during the progression of the run, even if you pick up Notch Talismans, you will still gain the Unleashed Talisman once it levels up, if you have ascended it or evolved it. So it still pays to pick up Notched Talisman as you find them. It's still worth it. Sword Enthusiast, while we don't want to summon our swords actively, there is another skill that Tau has, Empathy with Sword. 1 level of this is actually really good for this build, because it's gonna trigger this one, which gives us more weapon damage for every sword we summon, and this one makes us summon swords passively, alongside Sword Guard, which is basically our only survivability utility with this build that we want to aim for. And that's another reason why I'm swapping over to the Notch Talisman compared to the Rapidfire Talisman, specifically for Reincarnation 10. Tau's survivability is bad. I'm just gonna say it outright. She has no crowd control. She doesn't have any significantly good damage mitigation ascensions either. Like, let's take a few of the other ones as example. Al Bai has has an entire tree dedicated to increasing survivability through health regen, max health increase, immunity frames upon taking lethal damage, a whole bunch of those. Crown Prince has corrosive grenades by default, which slows enemies and reduces their damage done, which again is more survivability. I could go on and on, but Tau is one of those that really struggle from pure survivability. I wanted to comment on Magic Magazine. Magic Magazine is going to be pointless for this build in the long term, but like many other scrolls, it doesn't hurt to pick it up. You always want to hold on to it. It's not going to be a detriment to us. I've seen some people that maybe want to recycle scrolls that, oh, I know this scroll is going to be pointless for us, I should just recycle it for the money. I would still say hold on to it still, because you may run into a chest where you want to sacrifice a scroll to get another scroll, or sacrifice 3 scrolls to upgrade an ascended scroll. Things of that nature. You still want to keep them, just in case you run into one of those chests. And if you're that desperate for the money, like let's say you're only 50 gold away from a weapon upgrade that you really, really need, or a reroll that you could really, really need, in those cases, then you drop it and recycle it. But until then, just hold on to it, you never know. I'm actually going to go ahead and etch both of these. This one's funny. For 4 seconds, whenever you get a crit hit, bonus can stack. This one is going to be insane against the mini-bosses, or elites. We're about to evolve our talisman as well, just 3 more kills. Alright, so now that we have upgraded this thing, or evolved it, we get an additional slot as well as a new passive, Unleashed Power. Your next hit will consume 20% of stored damage of your talisman and deal true damage equaling to your consumed damage. The effect will not be stacked if the same power gem is triggered twice. So what's the stored mechanic? Stores 60% of overflow damage in the talisman, inherited bonus from Notch Talisman. I'm not entirely sure what this means, but my interpretation of this is if you kill an enemy, or defeat an enemy, 60% of that damage that wasn't necessary to defeat the enemy, 60% of that is stored into this power gem. And then whenever you trigger your gem, the next hit will then consume 20% of that stored damage to then release it. That is how I understand it. I haven't tested it fully. I'm pretty sure there's a wiki out there. Either way, you're not really using the Unleashed Notched Talisman for this bonus. You're using it because it just gives you plus 180% weapon and skill damage, 30% faster cooldowns on your primary skill, and 60 more max HP and armor. Like, 60 more max HP and armor is insane, alongside 30% more movement speed. Like, these two bonuses, or three bonuses, max shield, max health, and max movement speed. Those alone on a talisman would have made it pretty damn lucrative. But you get 180% more weapon damage on top of it, and it just becomes the best scroll in the game. There's no reason you shouldn't pick this up unless you want to go for something else. As for our condition gem, the simplest one is just, let's see here, shoot. As long as we keep firing, we're just going to consistently trigger the talisman. Granted, the cooldown on this thing is a bit too long for us to continuously fire. That's another reason why you want to get as big of a magazine size as possible, because when we're running a gem like this, which is a 4-second cooldown, we want to have something that's that can fire for 4 seconds without actually running out of bullets. That's something we want to look for. Also, I just forgot I need to add another thing here. I could add Crystal Shield, which gives us more longevity, and I think I'm just going to do that, just here at the start of the run. Hello there. No thank you. Peddler, what you got? Empty bonus. This build is not going to be reloading at all, especially not from empty. So I'm gonna skip this one. I was tempted to pick it up there for a second, just in case we run into one of those chests. Actually, no, it's not. It's not one of those chests. All right, let's re-roll. Surprise bonus. We're not really going to be caring about skill damage. Same with reasonable exclusive. I think the ones we do have, yeah, both of these are pretty acceptable, so I don't want to grab it just yet. Hidden treasure and efficient firepower. We'll take both of these, I think. No reason to pick them up. Yeah. Another thing of note, I was tempted to pick up this big hippo or fire dragon for a second there, and actually I think I might just pick up the fire dragon to deal with, in case we get the big monkey boss as our first spot and not the golem. It can be useful to deal with the small bomb guys that spawn, but I think I'll be fine with this shotgun either way. I was tempted to pick up this big hippo as well, but it's gonna slow us down too much to be able to deal with a boss, or enemies in general, so while it has a nice big magazine size, we're not at the point where we're gonna start Geminiing stuff yet. So I'm gonna be passing on both. Give me a scroll, please. Longshot. Longshot is a pretty good one for this build. We want to keep our distance, it's a fully automatic weapon, it's not a melee weapon, so absolutely keep it. It's also just more weapon damage, which is what we want. Sword Guard, absolutely take this. We want to get empathy with swords whenever it comes up, but only one level. We don't really care about the damage the flying sword deals. We only care the fact that it summons swords, and that's gonna make Sword Guard trigger. It's gonna make Sword Enthusiast trigger. So. Alright, let's see what we got. Thunder. I'm absolutely gonna grab a Thunder. Very, very good. In fact, I'm gonna swap out our Crystal with Thunder immediately. It's free damage, it's a stun. Very good stuff. Pick up another Notch Talisman, as well as Notch. So you see there, we picked up 2 Notch Talismans, and even though they themselves weren't unleashed, they were still combined with the Unleashed Talisman we had into a rare one. So with that, I'm going to pick up Crystal Shield on this one. Unless we have something else we want to pick up? No, not really. Unless... do we want to pick up double emergency recovery? I think we have resilient life, we have more shields and such, we already have 1 emergency recovery, it's fine. 1 second, let me just check something. Yeah, fine. Of course, we can also use this illusion shotgun. Yeah, it's doing a lot of damage. That's a mini-boss vault. I actually feel pretty confident in taking on a mini-boss. Our damage output with first strike and everything is pretty high, so I'm actually gonna go ahead and do it. Alright, see what we got. And of course it's the worst one in the game. Granted, we have Thunder, so hopefully we can stun him for a second here and get in a lot of shots. Oh, that's a lot of damage. Beautiful. Small guys incoming. Deal with them first. Had this been the spear guy boss, I would have absolutely shot and just nuked down the spear guy boss first, but because it's the shield boss, or mini boss, I'm gonna deal with the ads instead, first off. Very good barrel location there. Fantastic. Ninja's Discipline again. Again, doesn't really benefit our build, but doesn't hurt to pick up. Elemental Cube. Because we're not... Okay, Elemental Cube. This one is interesting. Normally, Elemental Cube is one of the most lackluster relics in the scrolls in the entire game. However, for this build, since we won't be actively reloading, we can manipulate this one, reload a few times when we pick this one up, and make sure it only ever has the fire damage increasing one. So Elemental Cube is actually a pretty damn good one for this build specifically, because we'll be doing mainly fire damage. Or basically only fire damage. So very underrated pick for this build. Against the flow. Ooh. This one is massive. Ooh, both of these are equally good for this build. This is gonna be a hard choice. An Amber Recover, kinda pointless. Oh, this is tough. In classic mode, if this was classic mode, I would have instantly picked up Against the Flow. No questions asked. Because it's one of those scrolls that actually enables this build to function in the first place, because of the ammo regen it offers. This one's tough. This one is legitimately tough. Since we're still so early in this run, I think I want to go with Against the Flow. We still haven't found the Demonlore yet. Once we do find the Demonlore, our damage output is going to be completely insane anyways. So this one, making our magazine situation more consistent early on, I think is going to be the correct choice. If it wasn't Against the Flow and it was something else, I would have probably picked up Elemental Cube anyway, unless it was a movement speed increasing or survivability increasing scroll instead. Yeah, so even with that scroll, we still can't fire our weapon at all times without having to pause. But it's going to increase the amount of times we can fire, at least, especially in short bursts like this. Just want to make sure I haven't missed anything. Don't think I have. Goblet. There it is. Empathy with Sword. We want to pick up 1 level of this and no more. Granted, if we do get Empathy with Sword alongside 2 other Ascensions that are pointless, take Empathy with Swords. It's the least bad one. Lightning Enthusiast. Do we pick this one up? We do have Thunder, which is a way to deal thunder damage, or shock damage. Granted, we're gonna take more damage from having it, but 10% is so low in the grand scheme of things that there is the chance of picking up Painkiller down the road, which would then become a damage decrease. I'm gonna pick up Lightning Enthusiast for now. Still no Demonlore, unfortunate. I'm gonna pick up this Angelic Aura and give it a description just to see what it has. Plus 100% of weapon damage on next hit after making a crit 2 times in a row. I think I would prefer this one, because this one just gives me a flat increasing crit damage modifier. I'm gonna upgrade this one time. We want to keep a lot of our money for when we do find the Demonlore, and then when we get another weapon with a high magazine count. Alright, let's see how fast we can destroy this guy. With our budget Demonlore made at homes. Yeah, very, very high damage. Excellent damage. Okay, concurrent cooldown. Hello. Okay. This is a very rare instance where I think concurrent cooldown may actually be an okay pick. Or is it? This was a tough choice. Let me think for a second. For the uninitiated, concurrent cooldown will essentially eat 10% of your magazine size per second, but it also gives you a plus 10% weapon damage for every time it does it, stacking up to 100%. As soon as you reach 50% of magazine left, or it has 1 round left, it will stop consuming. I think since we do have the Unleashed Talisman, and we're gonna give a whole bunch of reduction in cooldowns for it later down the line, and especially if we find a weapon with like 180 rounds in it that we can Gemini, I think the damage increase of concurrent cooldown is gonna be more valuable. Or is it? It's basically a question of if do I want concurrent cooldown or do I want to maximize first strike? That is the question here. Or first strike, sorry, not max strike. This one's really tough. I'm gonna pick my Ascensions and such in the meantime. Yep, more weapon damage. Energy storage, whatever, fine, I'll pick it up. I'm not using primary skill anyway. I'm gonna pick up some gems there while I think about concurrent cooldown. Another notch. Fire rate boost, we'll pick it up. Weapon enhance. Only for 6 seconds, it's a bit too low. Do I want this? This is a really tough call, and I think taking it and skipping it are both equally valid options, in my opinion, for this build. However, okay, so another reason why I'm really considering this is because we have Against the Flow, which is gonna basically recover those bullets anyway, as long as we're in combat. I'm gonna take it. We're gonna go for it. I believe the amount of increased damage it's gonna give us, compared to the amount of bullets it's actually gonna eat and be a detriment, I think it's gonna be fine. Overconsumption? No. This is not an overconsumption build. Ultimate Firearms? No. Battle Scarred, though. Absolutely we pick up Battle Scarred here. Massive damage reduction, more health regen. Yeah, okay. I think we basically sealed this run. As soon as we find a Demonlore, we'll be able to get the pure damage output that we're looking for. And until then, we have more or less the survivability that we need. Granted, we won't be invincible. So I'm not gonna play like an idiot just because we have Battle Scarred. And if you didn't know, shoot the barrels on those arsonists. Make them explode. Their barrels have very low health and makes them detonate. So yeah, free life hack, in case you didn't know it. I've showcased it a few times in my previous videos, but in case you're only watching this video, quick tip for you. So right now, we're looking for both a weapon with a high magazine size, but also Demonlore, of course. Yeah, okay, I don't like the fact that we have to reload so much. Show me your barrel, please. Come on. Is your barrel gonna explode or not? There you go, thank you. I might just swap to the illusion for this, which doesn't consume ammo as fast. I think this one we can actually keep firing forever. Yes, we can. Yeah, this gun doesn't have quite as much damage output as I wish it had, though. But we can absolutely just barrel stuff him. And that's a Demonlore! Hello there! Ooh, okay, it has one of the best modifiers that the Demonlore could possibly have, at least for this build. Let me just kill off these enemies first. There you go. So there's one... The Demonlore is a funny case of a lot of the blue modifiers is what you're looking for. Increased magazine size, accurate stability is the one that we're really looking for on this one, though. The 80% accuracy and 80% increased stability. Stability is a major problem with the Demonlore, and one of the reasons why it's pretty difficult to use. So plus accuracy, plus stability fixes two of the main issues that the Demonlore has. So we're absolutely going to be picking it up. Now the only question is, can we find another weapon that has a large magazine size? That's what we're looking for right now. I'm immediately gonna go ahead and just etch it. It's gonna give us a Gemini, of course. Share magazine size, fantastic. Now we just need to find another weapon that has large magazine size. I think at minimum you want to settle for a weapon that has 120 rounds in the clip, at bare minimum. If possible, go for something even higher. Yeah, so starting out, before we have the magazine size Gemini share yet, I'm gonna wanna tap fire this thing pretty slowly and build up the crit stacks. Don't wanna burn up the bullets we do have. But yeah, as you can see, our damage is starting to become really, really high. Sorry. What an itchy nose. What are the worst things to have when you're trying to focus on something? And as you can see, we now have 99 stacks of Demonlore, which says plus 990% weapon damage. Pretty strong if you ask me. And you see, even our body shots are dealing, like, absurd amounts of damage. So yeah, that's the power of this build and why it's so specifically strong this season. I think just take more empathy with swords. And it doesn't really hurt. Actually, what does level 3 do? Okay, so any damage has chance to summon Flying Sword. Okay. So with lower levels it's only weapon damage. Higher levels it has a chance for anything. Okay. I see. Oh, you're armored, of course you are. And boop. Honestly, the crit modifier on this thing isn't high enough to warrant specifically going for headshots, I feel. Obviously, if you can go for them, but for now, I'm just gonna go for body shots almost. Hit against you, absolutely just go for headshots. There we go. Here's an excellent secondary weapon. 160 magazine. Right. Our build is coming together. Now we just need to make sure both of these can share a Gemini. Rational consumption, we don't care about skill damage. Foundry Blessing, we're not gonna weapon swap. Sanguine Relic. Ooh. This one's a tough one. We have enough health regen, I think, and I would rather have more damage resistance at this point, stack it up to the maximum of 90%, rather than get even more health and more health regen. I think I would prefer keeping it as is. Or do we take it? This one's tough. If anyone else was in my position, I wouldn't blame them for picking this one up, but since I don't really care either way, or rather I would rather not have it, I guess we just take rational consumption. Even though we don't care about skill damage, our thunder still does skill damage, our swords that we summon when we fire still do skill damage, and Foundry Blessing is literally pointless to this build. Though there is an argument to pick up Foundry Blessing instead, because at least Foundry Blessing, based on my own advice I gave earlier, you can drop a Foundry Blessing. You can't drop the rational consumption. You have to keep the rational consumption. Right, since we walked and swapped earlier, and I completely forgot to go back and do the weapon vendor or the craftsman thing. I'm a dingus. Had a brain fart. Yes, we gotta go find a craftsman this stage, hopefully. To actually get this build rolling. And after you get the build rolling and everything, that's when you want to start pumping money into weapon upgrades. For the Demonlore, of course. Alright, we have our max stacks. We don't really care about headshots anymore. Or critical hits. Alright, what do we have? Hermits? Alright. Can you stop moving that much? Yeah, even with the increased stability, even with more accuracy, you're still gonna struggle hitting some enemies sometimes because it's a projectile and everything. Thank you, finally. I don't know what it is, but my nose is really itchy today. Not sure why, but it's really annoying. Mines. Let's recycle. And we'll go back to the Phantom Peddler, see what he has. What you got for us? Oh! You're too kind. Abnormal speed. It's hard to argue this not being the best scroll in the entire game. So I'm not gonna argue. I accidentally swapped, but that's okay. Well, how much magazine size do you have? If we do a compare. You still have more, even though you have both 100% and 60%. That is the dream, by the way. Find something like the Storm Chaser with both 100% magazine capacity and then the 60 one on top of it. That is the dream. I don't think I've found one yet, but I found plenty of Starflies and other weapons that have it. Expanded. Oh, this one has even more though. This one has 5 more. Is that worth it? I think it absolutely is. Here we want to take every bullet we can get. A chest. Upgrade scroll to enhanced. Ooh, what do we take? Oh, I think we enhanced concurrent cooldown. So the enhanced version says instead, after reloading, consume 10% of magazine to gain a stack. The difference here is that the scroll itself doesn't eat your ammo anymore. It just says, as long as you fire 10% of your magazine, you gain a stack. And then it gains up to 200%. 200%, oh my lord. Yeah, we're absolutely upgrading this thing, because it's gonna give us 200% weapon damage for a build where we never want to reload anyways. Absolutely enhance it. Alright, I'm glad I picked it up. Now we just need to find Craftsman. I'm immediately just gonna book it for the Craftsman here. Hello, Craftsman. 236. This build is about to become stupid. Alright, now we can just keep firing forever. Never have to reload, never have to worry about anything. Yeah, this is where you just break the game. Yeah. And keep in mind, we haven't gotten any essentials that actually improve our weapon output with Tau specifically, other than some slight damage increases. What we're really looking for is Warlike Blade and Selfless Dedication. These two are the main reasons why we're picking Tau. And we haven't gotten either of them yet, so I guess more empathy with swords. Why not? More swords. Doesn't really hurt. Phantom Peddler, what you got? Ammo compression could be funny, but we don't really care about it. Weapon boost. Absolutely we want to pick that up. Enhanced emergency recovery. Absolutely take that. Alright, I think we scrap Crystal Shield. Because at this point we have enough tankiness, and instead gain plus 100% weapon damage. For free. Oh, I needed to reload first. We didn't even have concurrent cooldown active. I forgot to reload first. And now we just dump all the money that we get into the Demonlore. Also, another thing you may notice, if it wasn't obvious from the very start, my audio setup may sound a bit different this time around. Of course, you can still hear my keyboard and everything, and I apologize for that. I still have a pretty loud keyboard. But one thing I've changed is I've moved my microphone to be a lot closer to my face and slightly further away from the keyboard and everything, in the hopes of having better audio quality for anyone who watches. Because I know myself, audio is a pretty important quality, and it's one of the reasons why I'm tempted to remove one of the guide videos I have, because I made it before I truly finalized the settings I wanted for my audio setup. With way too much gain, which made it peak a lot. So hopefully this is slightly more enjoyable. More money into the Demonlore. To the arena. Gonna focus up here for a minute, because this arena is actually kinda scary at times. They come from so many directions. But yeah, as you can see, we haven't gotten any, like, well, I'm lying if I said we hadn't gotten any major damage increasing scrolls or such, but this is still a weapon build that's able to do this much damage on Reincarnation 10. Like, keep in mind, if I had decided to use the Rapidfire Talisman instead of the Notch Talisman, we would be melting things even faster. In fact, if I really wanted to, I could swap over and start putting purchases into Rapidfire Talisman if I wanted to, rather than the notch. Like at this point, we've solved most of our survivability issues with the battle scarred. So survivability isn't really an issue any longer, at least majorly at least. But I still feel, for the purposes of this video, I still want to use the Notch Talisman. And just keep it. Because Notch Talisman, pretty damn good. Alright, let's see what we got. Magnetic Coil? It's okay. Not amazing, but okay. Fast Loader, we don't weapon swap or reload, we don't care. Coin Shot though, hello. Plus 30% lucky shot chance. By consuming 2 copper. How is the lucky shot chance looking right now? Other than Ninja Discipline, which gets consumed immediately, we don't really have anything that massively increases our lucky shot chance. Granted, plus 50% shot chance on the next shot after killing an enemy. Eh. Also, this, I just realized this passive is completely pointless. Plus 3% basic weapon damage of the next magazine for each 3% hit rate of current magazine. We don't want to reload, so that one's kind of pointless. I still think I'm gonna take it though. Lucky coin shot. It's gonna start contributing towards our lucky shot damage, and I'm okay wasting a few coins here and there for increased lucky shot odds. That's another thing this build makes excellent use out of, lucky shot chance as well. Because obviously they compound to just increase damage even further. So something like... Ooh, I forgot the blessing, but it's the blessing that gives you increased lucky shot chance, increased primary skill cooldown, as well as dash cooldown for every elite you have defeated in a run. I forget the name of the blessing, but that blessing is pretty damn good for this build, just because it offers you a lot of lucky shot chance. Because you will be sitting on the max stack of that buff by the end of the run. I can guarantee you that. Alright, not missing anything. No vaults, no nothing, alright. Hold on, didn't we pick up something I would rather want instead? I could be tempted to pick up Rate of Fire instead of Thunder, but I still want to keep Thunder actually here. It's nice CC, deals with certain trash enemies. So, I think I'll keep Thunder around. It also offers us a bit of mind control power. And look how quickly these... look how quickly we're melting elites here. Holy cow. Look at that damage. Yep. That's the power of the Demonlore, baby. It just melts everything. Selfless dedication, finally. Now we just want more levels in Warlike. Deflection Shield, no. I've talked about why I don't like Deflection Shield before, and I might as well mention it again. The reason I don't like it is because it only offers you benefit on enemies further away, and in most cases, enemies further away aren't gonna be the death of you, is the thing. Unless you're dealing with snipers. Snipers, you can outplay them. A lot of cases, you're gonna be rushed down by enemies, and enemies you just can't deal with being too close to you, and in those situations, you're just gonna take 90% more damage, which is just bad. So I really dislike that scroll. Warlike Blade. This is absolutely the thing we're looking for though. For every 10 ammo consumed, for the next 3 seconds, increase rate of fire by 10%, accuracy by 10%, and there's a 5% chance to recover ammo consumed when firing. Absolutely we want to take this, because it gives us more accuracy and more rate of fire, which is just more damage. The ammo return mechanic is also really nice. Fire Enthusiast. We're dealing a lot of fire damage, we'll set ourselves on fire, and deal even more fire damage. Yeah, I think we'll go for it. Okay. Hold on a minute here. Hold the phone. Okay, Elemental Relic will pick that up immediately, because we're doing a lot of elemental damage. Do we swap the Demonlore here? I'm really tempted to, but I don't think I will for two reasons. The only reason why I would swap to this is the increased lucky shot chance and the plus 65% total damage against enemies in the elemental effect. I think I would rather have more stability and accuracy, and the current weapon levels that we have dedicated to it, as well as the increased chance to get an additional projectile. Yeah, I'm not gonna buy that, unfortunately. Alright, let's see how quickly we can just delete this boss from the video game, shall we? Lightning Shard, hello! Absolutely pick this up. Very good find. Since we have both Thunder Gem as well as Shock Enthusiast, so we don't take any extra damage now. Brief Respite, or Respite, however you want to pronounce it. We're not going to weapon swap, we're not going to reload, so this one is literally pointless to us. I'm going to re-roll and see if we can get something else instead. We did not, of course. Oh well, it was worth a try. Put all our levels into more weapon damage. And let's see how quickly we can just delete this boss, shall we? Yeah! That's the Demonlore for you. That's Merciless combo is one of the best scrolls in the entire game, and especially for this build, it is crazy good. It's just stacking weapon damage for every time you hit something. Yoink, we'll be taking that. Goblet, what you got? More selfless dedication, I will take it. And we'll be on our merry way towards the Talisman Peddler. See what you got. Weapon boost? We already have the legendary version, so no thank you. Alright, we got the legendary version, which gives us yet another slot. I think we'll absolutely take the fire rate boost. And now we got our things as well, so I did use a prefix, or a set of prefixes going into this, and these are basically the ones you want for this. 1 second duration, which is going to increase the duration of weapon boost as well as fire rate. Less cooldown. The cooldown of your talisman matters a lot, because it's going to increase the frequency of your reloads, it's going to give you more health regen, more stun, more weapon damage, more rate of fire, just more everything. And even more cooldown reduction, so absolutely excellent. Let's mow through the third act, shall we? Counterviolence is very much a blessing we would like, because it's so inaccurate. Means we can go for more body shots and deal a lot more damage. Counterviolence, absolutely we will take that. So we got the... I want to point out here, we are currently running the back to origin thing. You can see there on the right side of the screen, like over here. Enemies will be dealt 50% true damage for every hit with the Foundry, and it will take 90% less damage from anything else. So enemies are currently taking 90% less damage from us, and they're still just melting from the amount of damage that we're doing with this. That is how powerful we are with this build right now. That enemies can have a 90% damage reduction, and we don't care. We just mow through them anyways. Oh, holy moly. Yeah, for most of the enemies, we will just one-shot them. Like, just one tap. You're dead. You're dead, 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 dead. Yeah, this is more like the showcase video I shared earlier. Oh, that was apparently an elite, and he just fell over. you can see why I really wanted to share this video. Because, yeah, like, do I need to explain any further at this point? Third time unlucky, more weapon damage? Arms dealer could actually be really, really good for us. The damage increase is I can't say a word. Negligible. I can't speak English. It's minor. I don't really care about it. The damage resistance, though, is fine. So absolutely a valid pick. Mid-air strike. Its base version is kind of meh. If it was the enhanced, I would have picked it up like that instantly. 90% damage reduction while in the air is fantastic. But this is just the regular version, so I think we just take Arms Dealer, actually. Because we should still be consuming a lot of ammo, even if we then instantly regenerate it anyways. So, yeah, look how long that duration actually is. Yeah, we can basically keep that up at all times. That is fantastic. There's an elite incoming. They're all dead. Oh boy. Another scroll that, if you were playing in classic mode, would be absolutely build defining, would be Legendary Depot. Or Advanced Depot, sorry. I'll explain more in a minute about that one. Pain to gain. Do we have a way of mitigating curses? I don't think we do. We don't really benefit from it either. But I still think this is early enough in the run, or it's not late enough in the run to be too detrimental. So I'm actually going to pick this one. What do we get? We get Cursed Magazine. When reloading, there's a 30% chance to double land consumption. We don't reload, so I don't care. Mistaken Delivery could potentially be pretty bad. And Fragile Body. We have enough health regen and everything, so Fragile Body doesn't really bother us that much. Enhanced version of this, I do not care. Now this is a funny one. Enhanced Reinforced Eggshell, just more damage resistance. Don't mind if I do. Alright, we're now sitting at 80% damage resistance at all times, and I think if I get Arms Dealer... Yeah, it's up to 90%. We're now immortal. More or less, we are unkillable. Unkillable with a laser weapon. So yeah, even on Reincarnation 10, you can absolutely get runs where you just instantly delete everything. Granted, it's a lot more consistent if you use something like the Demonlore. Mistaken Delivery. The most detrimental one was... remade. And what did we get? Special ammo. It doesn't... It's not a hindrance to us because we don't using special ammo anyways. We can use it if we get a red chest that lets us reroll scrolls or something. Warlike Blade, level 2. Absolutely. More accuracy and more rate of fire. Yeah. Now we're cooking with gas. Look at this rate of fire. More levels. I think the nicest thing about this build is the fact that you don't have to really care about reloading or anything. You can just keep firing. With zero regards for your ammo pool. At least once you get the build up and running, of course. I'm not entirely sure what else this build would need at this point, because we've basically gotten everything we need. We got damage reduction, we got health regen, we got all the damage we'll need. I guess dual edge, technically. The scroll that increases your damage by 1% for every defeated enemy, but also gives you a damage vulnerability. I guess that would be funny, but we don't really care about it. Fragile Body got re-rolled. Very lucky. And what did we get? Premium membership. More money. Don't mind if I do. Enhancement Lover would be perfect right about now. Or... I forgot the name of it. The scroll that increases your weapon damage by a percentage of your copper. More Sword Guard. We don't really need it at this point, but if anything's gonna kill us, it's gonna be, well, taking too much damage, so more damage mitigation doesn't hurt. Airbag. Do we take the funny airbag? I'm low-key tempted to, for one funny interaction. Emergency recovery. Sure, it would... Like, we wouldn't ever get to 1 HP with the airbag, but emergency recovery would still give us some amount of damage from the health regen it gave us, so it doesn't hurt. Same with Life Stealer. Just more damage mitigation, more run safety. No reason not to pick it up. More levels, we'll do the elite. Alright, let's see if we can instantly kill it. Almost. Hot diggity. Corrosive Shard, pretty okay pickup. Glazed Sight. Ooh, that could be funny. Or Hawkeye's. What the fudge? What the hell is this chest? Ooh. We have counter violence, which means that basically any hit we do is going to be crit anyways. I think we just take Hawkeye side here and just say Lamau crit damage. Yep, that would be really funny. Even with how unstable this thing is and wonky some critical hitboxes can be, it's still going to be hilarious to just insta-kill stuff. We absolutely take it. Did we look at you? I don't think we did. No, we didn't. Meteor, highest level. I don't really care about it. And I don't see a reason to reforge this thing either. Actually, let's look here. What's our available inscriptions for this thing, actually? Duration, trigger, yeah. Yep. Yes, yep. What's the exclusive on? Store from I think these prefixes are completely fine. I don't see a reason to pick up anything else. No. The one thing I would love to have is fire rate boost, but as legendary quality. Or thunder legendary quality. Both of those would have been pickups for us, but since neither were an option, just pass. Let's go back to the craftsman and level up even more. Oh yeah, by the way, first strike, I should have mentioned it. First strike is affected by every bullet you have, including the ones you get from shared magazine capacity, so first strike is giving us a casual plus 1100% weapon damage bonus. That's the reason why we want first strike specifically as the first blessing that we get. Because if we don't pick it up at the start, we're not guaranteed to find it elsewhere throughout the run. And the amount of damage it gives us is so important. Like, it is a major contributor to the damage output we do have. To the point we wouldn't be dealing anywhere near this amount of damage without it. Wouldn't it be funny if you were in a station that allowed me to enhance? No, but we get a cursed scroll, and I might just take it, even if none of the other options are good. Simply because we have Pain for Gain, which gives us a chance to destroy a cursed scroll and give us a actual scroll. Now, I would be tempted to pick this one up. Get a cursed scroll and replace a random non-exclusive inscription with a selected weapon with an exclusive inscription. There are some pretty damn good ones we could pick up for this thing. Like plus 1 projectile, plus 100% consumption, which basically double projectile, double cost, which is absurdly good. But there's two problems with it. One, oops, sorry, hit the mic. One problem is one of the exclusive inscriptions for Demonlore is it basically inverses the mechanic of the Demonlore, so that when you reload, you gain a whole bunch of stacks. And as you keep firing, for every shot you make, you drop a stack of that damage bonus. So it basically inverses the bonus that the Demonlore has, and completely just destroys the potential for it. It makes it completely useless for this build that we have currently going. So, because there's a tiny chance we may roll that one, out of principle I don't want to pick it up. Another reason why I don't want to pick it up either is because, even if it said rare inscription, because there are some rare ones that we may want to pick up, because we have this one, plus 80% accuracy, plus 80% stability, the 1 in 4 chance that this inscription is the one that gets removed is simply unacceptable, because this bonus is one of the best ones we could possibly have for this one. So because of those reasons, we're not going to pick this one. Instead, I'm just going to get Cursed Scroll for increased weapon levels. Leaky Pockets, -7% copper amount of switching stages. Okay. Not terrible, not great. Is it Volt in here? Yep, fantastic. Elites incoming, that's it. 1 elite down. 2 elites down. 3 elites. Come on, spawn in. 4 elites. Can we go for 5? 5. There we go. And we got Berserker Sold. Not terrible, not great. We don't really care about it. Level 100 sophistication? Sure. Phantom Skin. Why not? Pretty okay. I don't really care about any of these, so I guess I'll just take more sword damage. Like, it really doesn't matter which one of those. That's one of the downsides of picking Tau, is that there's gonna be times where the Ascensions picks you get are gonna be completely pointless. And yeah, he just perished. Overwhelming Shields, pretty okay. Intimidating Presence, pretty good pickup. Not vital or anything, but more crowd control doesn't really hurt. Even though we already have crowd control because we have fire damage plus the thunder gem, so it's okay. Alright, let's see here. Bullet Bank, don't really care about it. Ammo Recover, don't really care. Hello there, Strategic Advance, yup. Ostrich Rider. So, Ostrich Rider, I'm surprised I haven't seen this scroll until now for my live commentaries. Ostrich Rider is a very interesting case. If you get Ostrich Rider early, it's a bad pick. If you get it later, it's amazing. The reason is mainly because early on you're more reliant on your dash to avoid damage. The later on you get in a run, usually, the more movement speed you will have already, So Ostrich Rider is one of those scrolls that if you already have increased movement speed to a fairly decent amount, picking it up is just gonna be better because you don't have to rely on the dash to begin with to avoid damage. So I'm actually gonna pick this up. And you can see how fast we are now. Fantastic. More weapon levels. Let's just do a bit of pre-firing here to get our rate of fire up and everything. Shell, shoot. Destroy the mini. Oh yeah, I don't have any movement penalty immunities, I realized. That's another reason why I love the corrosive gem. Or the corrosive shard, I should say. And they're done. Fantastic, and we get energy sandals, which I don't really care about. Deflection shield, again! Please be gone, I don't care about you. Big Eater, sure, we'll take it. More survivability. Sure, more of that, I guess. What you got? Nothing really here. No. No, nothing here. Okay. On to the final stages. Is anything I would want to swap here at all? I don't think so. All of these are excellent blessings for this build. Like, oh, we've gotten so lucky with the blessings this run. Yeah, none of these are even remotely as good as the ones we currently have, so... Oh, fantastic. Glazed barrier, I should say. Oh. The worst. What do you say? Challenge, thing, event, whatever you want to call it. It's pretty boring. And actually, it's more annoying than anything else. Because it means you have to wait to destroy enemies. It's the same with the immortal one. Like, I'm just gonna do this out of spite for you. There you go. No actual reason, just pure spite. Chest up there, let's see what it has. If I can actually get up there. Oh, how do we get up? Is it here? Yes, it is. Given a cold scroll, sure, you can have special ammo for all I care. Give me more money. Money that I'm probably not going to end up using anyways, because I don't have enhancement lever. Sad days. I'm just gonna run ahead here. Can you please perish? Thank you. Well, thankfully that's over with. Mini boss. So I wanted to quickly touch as well this build in regards to classic mode. The reason why I'm doing it right now is simply because of the whole talisman thing, right? With the talisman, this build becomes actually consistent. Without the talisman bullet reload power gem, this build will be a lot more difficult to actually get up and running, because only Tau, I think, could run this build then, and you would have to rely on a combination of selfless dedication, warlike blade, and probably something like against the flow. Where is it? Against the flow, to actually have enough ammo recovery, or, you know, actual ammo recovery to continuously fire and have a full magazine at all times. I don't see any other way to make this build work, so at that point it would become a luck-based build. But with the current talisman we have, it becomes 100% consistent nearly always, because finding a Demonlore is something you'll almost always do either way. Compared to finding specific scrolls, that is something that's always up in the air and up to RNG. Sometimes you may not get the scroll that you're really looking for that would complete the build. But there are all absolutely ways you can still make this build work if you try enough times in classic mode, but you'll have to accept that you will have runs that will simply fall apart because you don't get the required scrolls or ascensions that you sort of need to, you know, get the build off the ground. Okay, our shield is actually going down. Even with 90% damage reduction, you can't just tank everything. You're not the one. You're the one. Alright, that's one more gone. You're the one. Stand still, please. Thank you. Cycle all of this. Oh, another Demonlore. That's another exclusive that's really pointless for the build. Reloading halves the crit buff stacks. Kinda pointless. So, no thank you. Let's just take a quick look around. We did do the vault. I'm pretty sure we did the chest as well. That just leaves weapon upgrading. Sword Enthusiast, sure. What's the max level of this? And 2% lucky shot chance for 10 seconds. Ooh, that's actually kind of good. We need more lucky shot chance. Doesn't hurt to have. As if we don't destroy enemies fast enough. We need more lucky shot chance, obviously. You there. There you go. I almost missed you, peddler. What you have? Persistent. Actually, I'll take this. This one's too late. Kind of, actually. If we would have picked this one up much earlier, it would have been game-breaking. But since we are playing a Lone Wolf 4 that spawns a whole bunch of elites, I'm actually going to pick this one up. Even though we're on the final stage, we're still going to have to deal with like 5 elites towards the end, which is still going to give us 50% more damage towards the final boss, so I would still call it worth it to pick it up. Alright, let's get this done. Let's see how quickly we can destroy one of the rider elites. I think the biggest downside of this build in the long term is just the fact that you actually have to aim directly at enemies to kill them. Oh, it actually takes a few seconds to destroy him. But not for you. Alright, see what we get. Capacity Overdraft, don't really care. Thunder Screen, don't really care. Reascend, no thank you. We actually got most of the scrolls, ascensions that we want. Except a few Epic Swordcraft, which I would have liked to go into this, but close enough. Thunder Screen it is. It's the least pointless of the two. Pick up all the money. Oh, we have 10,000 gold. Why do you have so much money? I don't understand. I'm gonna give a scroll here that we're not using. Like, rational consumption. We don't really care about you. Divine energy. Swap skill damage for more skill damage. Okay. Sure, game. Why not? Let's quickly look at some weapon levels here. I wonder if we can make this a sub 1 hour run. That would be funny. I think we might be able to. If we really speedrun this and try hard. Holy cow, those UFOs just get deleted. Normally they are very resilient in most things. Wow, actually defeating one of them before the other one spawns in is crazy. Holy crap, this damage output. Oh my god. Oh. Like, if you've seen any of my other Lone Wolf 4 Reincarnation 10 videos, you know how absurd this damage output is. Holy shit! What the fuck? What the hell? I just fine, whatever. I don't care about the which ones. Rich privilege. Sure, why not? Holy cow! One of the most insane runs. Even for this build, this run has been pretty crazy. Like, the only thing I could have possibly wished for that would have been different would if we would have gotten a enhanced version of the dual edge. That's the only thing I could have asked for. I mean, alright, it's boss music time. I'm just gonna go for it. I don't care about the talisman. Gluttony! Let's go. Dormant bullets. Sure, we'll take both of you. Let's just go. Let's do this! How quickly can we delete Gluttony? Very fast, it seems. Can we damage him through his invulnerability? That's my question. I'm pretty sure we can at this point. Especially if we get crits. Alright, let's see if we can do this. Oh, we absolutely can. Let's go. Oh, he actually gains invulnerability. Okay, you can't actually kill him. Holy cow. Even on Reincarnation 10. He doesn't allow that. Alright, maybe this time? Actually, we want to keep our distance if possible because of long shot. Come on. Can we do it? Almost. Not quite. Yeah, this damage is insane. And there it is. Holy cow, what a run. Well, there you go. That is the Demonlore build for Reincarnation 10. Specifically, Reincarnation 10 with the current Arcane Talisman seasonal working as completely as intended, of course, I'm fairly sure. Like, I don't understand why they made this power gem, let alone a power gem you start with. Like, it's so broken, it's so good. Go out there, abuse this build, mow down Reincarnation 10. Thank you for watching. and I will see you next time. Thank you for watching.